First contact and invasion. The skies above New Shanghai gleamed with the familiar shimmer of the atmospheric defense grid, a web of invisible energy that had protected Earth for decades. Commander Elisa Chen stood at the observation deck of the Global Defense Initiative headquarters, her gaze fixed on the holographic display showing Earth's orbital security network. 20 years of service had taught her to trust her instincts, and something felt wrong today. "Ma'am, we're detecting anomalies at the edge of the Kuiper Belt," Lieutenant Kamal reported, his fingers dancing across the control panel. Multiple objects moving faster than any registered spacecraft. Chen frowned. Humanity had expanded its presence throughout the solar system, but nothing ventured beyond Neptune without clearance. Natural objects. Negative. Their trajectory changes indicate propulsion systems, and they're accelerating. The command center fell silent. In the century since humanity had united under the GDI after the resource wars, they had searched the stars for other intelligent life. Countless probes, signals, and missions had yielded nothing but silence and empty worlds. Until now. "Sound the alert," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins. "I want all defense platforms at maximum readiness and civilian shelters prepared." The objects approached with impossible speed, bypassing the early warning systems at Jupiter and Mars within hours. As they entered Earth's orbit, the true scale of the visitors became apparent. The lead vessel alone dwarfed the largest human spacecraft ever built, its hull gleaming with an obsidian sheen that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. "We're broadcasting the first contact protocol on all frequencies," Communications Officer Rivera announced. The carefully crafted message, developed by linguists, mathematicians, and diplomats, had been Earth's prepared greeting for extraterrestrials for generations. No response came. Instead, the alien fleet deployed smaller craft that descended toward major population centers across the globe. Chen watched in horror as energy signatures spiked across the holographic display. "They're powering weapons," Kamal shouted. Before Chen could respond, the sky above New Shanghai erupted in blinding light. The defense grid, humanity's pride and ultimate protection, shattered like glass. Similar reports flooded in from around the world as powerful energy beams struck with surgical precision, targeting power plants, military installations, and communication hubs. "Casualties," Chen demanded, struggling to maintain composure as the command center shook with nearby impacts. "Minimal in protected areas," Rivera reported, surprise evident in her voice. "They're avoiding dense population centers." Chen's analytical mind raced. The attack pattern was methodical, not aimed at maximizing human deaths, but at disabling infrastructure. "They're not trying to exterminate us," she realized aloud. "This is a resource operation." The hours that followed confirmed her theory. The alien forces systematically established mining operations, primarily targeting rare earth elements and water sources. When human military forces engaged, they were swiftly neutralized, but civilian evacuation transports were largely ignored. In the underground backup facility where the GDI leadership regrouped, Chen presented her findings. "The pattern suggests they don't recognize us as the dominant species of this planet," she explained, pointing to footage of alien machinery extracting minerals with ruthless efficiency. "They're treating Earth like an uninhabited resource deposit." Admiral Zhao, the highest-ranking officer still in communication, shook his head in disbelief. "How is that possible? Our cities are visible from space. Our satellites are gone," Chen finished for him. "But that's not the point. I think they knew exactly what they were targeting, just not who lives here." Working with the remains of Earth's scientific community, Chen's team intercepted and began analyzing alien communications. Dr. Amelia Okafor, a brilliant xenolinguist, made the breakthrough after 40 sleepless hours. "It's not Earth they're calling this planet," she explained, eyes wide with realization. "In their language, it translates roughly to Mineral Repository XB12. There's no acknowledgement of intelligent inhabitants in any of their communications. Chen saw an opportunity. If this is a mistake, we might be able to negotiate rather than fight a war we can't win. Their chance came when a damaged alien scout vessel crashed in the Andes. A GDI strike team secured the site before the aliens could recover it, finding technology beyond human understanding and a survivor. The alien, kept in a hastily constructed containment unit, had a vaguely humanoid shape, but with 4 arms and skin that seemed to shift colors like an octopus. Its apparent navigation system confirmed Dr. Okafor's theory. The aliens, who called themselves the Voraxians, had catalogued Earth a century earlier as an uninhabited planet rich in resources. Using the aliens' communication device and Dr. Okafor's rudimentary translation algorithm, Chen sent a message directly to the Voraxian command vessel. "You have invaded an inhabited world. We are willing to negotiate terms for limited resource sharing, but we will defend our home." The response was immediate and unexpected. The Voraxian attacks paused worldwide. For 6 hours, silence reigned as humanity watched the skies anxiously. Then, a single transport descended to the GDI headquarters coordinates, requesting a meeting. The Voraxian representative, introduced as Fleet Commander Zex Terrell, towered over Chen by nearly 2 meters. Its skin shifted between deep purple and blue as it addressed her through a translation device. "Our charts indicate this world. Designated Mining Outpost XB-12. Contains no sentient species," the alien stated. "Your presence is unexpected." "This is Earth, our homeworld," Chen replied firmly. "We have existed here for thousands of years. Your designation is incorrect." The Voraxian's skin darkened to an almost black shade. "Impossible. Our survey from your year 2047 showed only primitive life forms." Chen understood immediately. 2047 was during the resource wars. Most of humanity was in underground shelters to escape the environmental collapse. "Your survey missed us." For several long moments, the alien was silent, its skin cycling through various shades. Finally, it spoke. "This complicates matters. Resource acquisition is essential to Voraxian survival. Our homeworld is dying." "That doesn't justify invasion," Chen countered, "but it might explain it. Perhaps we can help each other instead of fighting." Before negotiations could continue, alarms blared. The Voraxian fleet had split, half maintaining position while others accelerated their mining operations. "What is happening?" Chen demanded. Fleet Commander Zex Terrell's translator produced what might have been a curse. "Political division. Some believe acknowledging our error would cause unacceptable loss of status. They would rather complete the mission and obscure the truth." The uneasy alliance formed in that moment wasn't one of friendship but survival. Zex Terrell provided crucial intelligence about Voraxian weaknesses, while Chen organized Earth's remaining military assets for a coordinated counterattack. "Target their atmospheric thrusters," Zex Terrell advised. "Our vessels cannot maintain stability without them in planetary gravity wells." The battle that followed marked humanity's first coordinated response to the invasion. Fighter squadrons from surviving bases worldwide used the Voraxian intel to target vulnerable points on the mining vessels. What the human craft lacked in technology, they made up for in numbers and the element of surprise. As a massive Voraxian extraction ship crashed into the Atlantic, its systems disabled by precisely targeted EMP weapons, Chen received reports of similar successes worldwide. The invaders hadn't expected resistance at this scale, and certainly not with knowledge of their weaknesses. In the GDI command center, Chen watched the holographic display as Voraxian vessels began retreating to higher orbits. "They're regrouping," she observed. "No," Zex Terrell corrected, its skin shifting to a deep blue that Dr. Okafor had identified as indicating concern. "The high command vessel is arriving." The situation has escalated beyond a simple mining operation. The massive ship that appeared in Earth orbit dwarfed even the impressive vessels that had begun the invasion. Its arrival cast a shadow over humanity's small victory and promised that the real battle was just beginning. Your people have proven themselves worthy adversaries, Zex Terrell acknowledged. But you must understand, the High Command will not accept defeat, especially to a species our records claimed didn't exist. Chen stood straighter, embodying the determination that had carried humanity through countless disasters of their own making. Then they'll learn what we already know. Earth isn't as weak as they thought. Resistance and resolution. The Varaxian High Command vessel hung in low Earth orbit like a massive obsidian blade, its shadow darkening half the planet during each rotation. Within its command chamber, Supreme Overseer Drenvekor viewed reports of the failed initial invasion with mounting rage. Explain how our most detailed surveys missed an entire sentient species, he demanded of the science division. The human civilization was in collapse during our survey period, the chief researcher explained, skin flickering anxiously between yellows and greens. Their population had retreated to subsurface habitats due to atmospheric degradation. We classified them as pre-sentient, lacking spacefaring capabilities. Drenvekor's skin darkened to deep crimson. And you didn't think to verify this assessment before committing our resources to invasion. Fleet Commander Zex Terrell, communicating via secure channel from the surface, watched the exchange with growing concern. The political reality was clear. The High Command would never publicly acknowledge such a catastrophic error. They would rather eliminate all evidence, including an entire sentient species. Back on Earth, Commander Elisa Chen recognized the same truth from Zex Terrell's increasingly alarming reports. They're going to escalate, she informed the hastily assembled Global Defense Council. According to our Varaxian ally, the High Command would rather exterminate us than admit they invaded an inhabited world by mistake. Then we fight, Admiral Zhao stated simply. Chen shook her head. Not conventionally. Even with Zex Terrell's intelligence, we can't match their technology in open warfare. We need to prove we're too valuable to destroy. Her plan was audacious to the point of insanity. Infiltrate the Varaxian High Command vessel using stealth technology adapted from the crashed scout ship and access their central database. If they could prove that earlier Varaxian surveys had indeed detected human civilization, but classified the information incorrectly, it might force the High Command to acknowledge their error. This is a suicide mission, Dr. Okafor objected. Potentially, Chen agreed. But Zex Terrell believes there are others among the Varaxians who suspect the truth. We just need to give them evidence they can't ignore. While Chen prepared for her desperate mission, Earth's remaining military forces engaged in strategic guerrilla warfare against Varaxian mining operations. Using the weaknesses Zex Terrell had revealed, human forces targeted environmental control systems and gravitational stabilizers, forcing the aliens to abandon outposts across South America and Asia. The resistance wasn't without cost. Cities like Sydney and Cairo lay in ruins after particularly fierce battles. Millions had died in the initial attack, and millions more were displaced. But humanity proved remarkably adaptable, using underground transit systems as evacuation routes and converting civilian infrastructure into makeshift weapons platforms. 3 days after the High Command's arrival, Chen and a small team of specialists boarded a modified shuttle hidden beneath layers of stealth technology. Zex Terrell accompanied them, risking everything on this desperate gambit. My career was finished the moment I acknowledged your existence, the Varaxian explained when Chen questioned its motives. But I still believe in truth and honor, concepts the High Command seems to have abandoned. Their approach to the massive Varaxian vessel was tense but uneventful. Using access codes Zex Terrell provided, they entered through a maintenance port, emerging into corridors designed for beings larger than humans. The central database is 17 levels up, Zex Terrell informed them, skin shifting nervously between purple and blue. Security will be minimal. The concept of internal sabotage is nearly unheard of in our society. As they navigated the labyrinthine vessel, Chen noticed Varaxians of various ranks going about their duties. Many displayed the same color-shifting skin as Zex Terrell, though patterns and base hues varied widely. They don't seem particularly warrior-like, she observed quietly. We aren't, Zex Terrell confirmed. The Voraxian collective evolved as gatherers and builders. Our expansion to the stars was driven by resource scarcity, not conquest. This, aggression, is relatively new, born of desperation. Their infiltration proceeded smoothly until an alarm suddenly blared throughout the vessel. Security breach detected. An automated voice announced in the Voraxian language. Unknown entities in Section 42. We've been compromised, Zex Terrell hissed, skin paling to an almost white shade. But not our location. This is Section 86. Chen made a split-second decision. Then we used the distraction. Move faster. As they hurried toward the central database, they encountered signs of internal conflict. Voraxian security forces rushing in multiple directions, some appearing to fight each other. What's happening? Chen demanded as they took cover in a storage area. Zex Terrell's translator struggled to keep up with its rapid speech. Faction conflict. Some suspected the truth about your world from the beginning. They're making their move against the High Command. When they finally reached the central database, a cavernous chamber filled with crystalline structures pulsing with light, they found it already occupied. A group of Voraxians surrounded the main terminal, led by a figure whose skin shifted in complex patterns of green and blue. Science Director Nev Lorith, Zex Terrell identified with evident relief. An ally. The Science Director turned as they approached, displaying no surprise at the human presence. Fleet Commander Zex Terrell. Your timing is fortunate. We have accessed the original survey data. On massive display screens surrounding the chamber, images of Earth from a century earlier appeared. Unlike the barren world the Voraxians had claimed to find, these clearly showed human cities, though many were damaged by the wars of that era. More damning were atmospheric composition readings that indicated industrial activity and radiation signatures, unmistakably identifying technological civilization. The data was classified and altered by the previous administration, Nev Lorith explained. They designated Earth as uninhabited despite clear evidence to the contrary, likely to simplify resource acquisition. Chen understood the implications immediately. You're saying your government knowingly invaded an inhabited world? That this wasn't a mistake? A portion of our leadership did, Nev Lorith corrected. Now we have proof of their deception. The revelation spread throughout the Voraxian fleet like wildfire. The crystalline database transmitted to all vessels simultaneously, preventing suppression of the information. Within hours, the invasion force was in disarray as factions formed among the Voraxians. Supreme Overseer Drenvakor, seeing his authority crumbling, made a desperate final move. His loyalists seized control of the High Command vessel's primary weapon systems and targeted Earth's largest remaining cities. If we cannot have this world's resources, no one will, his broadcast declared. We will sterilize this contamination. The massive energy weapons powered up, capable of devastating entire continents. But before they could fire, the ship's systems suddenly failed, plunging sections into darkness. Emergency protocols activated, announced a new voice over the ship's communication system. By authority of the Collective Council, Supreme Overseer Drenvakor is relieved of command pending investigation of ethics violations. In the central database chamber, Science Director Nev Lorith's skin glowed with satisfaction. The override codes worked. The Council has been monitoring the situation from our homeworld. With the evidence we provided, they had no choice but to intervene. The following days saw a remarkable transformation. Voraxian forces withdrew from Earth's surface, their mining operations abandoned. Representative leaders from both species met aboard a neutral station to negotiate terms for coexistence. Our original survey was correct in one respect. Nev Lorith explained during these meetings. Your world is indeed rich in resources we desperately need. But we failed to recognize that your civilization itself is perhaps the most valuable resource of all. Chen, representing Earth alongside a coalition of global leaders, remained cautious. You still invaded our world and killed millions of our people. Trust will not come easily. Understood, The Varaxian acknowledge. But consider our proposal: technology exchange instead of resource theft. Your species has demonstrated remarkable ingenuity with limited tools. Imagine what you might accomplish with access to our scientific knowledge. The agreement they eventually reached was neither perfect nor entirely satisfactory to either side. The Varaxians would provide technological assistance, particularly in environmental restoration and advanced energy production. In exchange, Earth would allow limited mining operations in uninhabited regions, strictly monitored by joint human-Varaxian oversight committees. 6 months after the invasion began, Commander Elisa Chen stood once again at the observation deck of the rebuilt GGI headquarters, watching a Varaxian transport ship peacefully delivering medical supplies to New Shanghai. "Do you trust them?" Admiral Zhao asked, joining her at the window. Chen considered the question carefully. "Not entirely, but I understand them better now. They're not so different from us, capable of both terrible mistakes and remarkable growth." "Some say we got lucky," Zhao noted, "that if they'd really wanted to destroy us, they could have." Chen shook her head. "It wasn't luck. It was humanity doing what we've always done: adapting, fighting back against impossible odds, and refusing to be erased from the universe." Above them, the sky shimmered with the new defense grid, a hybrid of human and Varaxian technology, stronger than anything Earth had possessed before. The invasion had brought devastation, but also a forced evolution. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger galactic community, proving that Earth wasn't as weak as the invaders thought, and perhaps never had been.